her card was declined 3 times. A black mother, standing in a luxury pharmacy with her feverish baby crying against her chest, counting $17 in coins with trembling hands while rich customers stared at her threadbare clothes with disgust. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered apologies, humiliation burning through her skin like fire. She had nothing, no money, no hope, no way to buy the diapers her sick child desperately needed. And then a hand appeared over her shoulder, a black card, an impeccable suit, cold eyes that had witnessed unspeakable horrors. Park Jin-woo, the most feared Korean mafia boss on the West Coast, a man who controlled politicians, judges, and the city's darkest secrets, paid her bill without saying a single word. But what this desperate black woman didn't know was that in that moment of kindness, she had awakened something terrifying inside a monster. An obsession so consuming, so absolute, that he would murder anyone who looked at her twice. He would track her every movement. He would trap her in a golden cage of luxury and surveillance. She thought a stranger had saved her life. She had no idea. She had just become the possession of the most dangerous man in California. What happened next shattered both their worlds forever. Before we begin this story, comment below where you're watching from and what time it is there. If stories of karma, love, and hidden truths move you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Los Angeles bleeds beneath the invisible grip of a man whose name is whispered like a curse in the darkest corners of the city. Park Jin-woo, 38 years old, master of the Paekdu organization, sits at the pinnacle of an empire built on blood, betrayal, and the broken bones of anyone foolish enough to stand in his way. His mansion rises from the hills like a monument to sin itself. Marble floors imported from Italy, walls adorned with stolen masterpieces, windows that gaze down upon a kingdom he conquered, one corpse at a time. Politicians dine at his table with trembling hands. Judges sign whatever papers his lawyers slide across their desks. Police officers look the other way when his armored Maybachs glide through intersections like sharks through dark water. Jin-woo knows no hesitation. He grew up in the slums of Seoul, a boy who ate garbage to survive, who watched his mother die of starvation while begging for scraps that never came. He swore on her cold body that he would never be invisible again. And he kept that promise with a ruthlessness that makes grown men weep. Yet beneath that iron control, beneath that mask of ice that has never cracked, there lives a terror he shares with no one. The suffocating fear of becoming nothing once more. Across the sprawling madness of this city, in a roach-infested apartment that reeks of mold and despair, a black woman named Amara Robinson opens her eyes at 4 in the morning. She is 27 years old, though exhaustion has carved decades into her beautiful face. Her hands are cracked and bleeding from scrubbing the floors of mansions she will never afford. Her body aches with a weariness that sleep cannot cure, for sleep is a luxury she abandoned months ago. Amara, this young black mother, cleans 3 homes every single day, 16 hours of labor that barely covered diapers and formula for her 6-month-old son. The baby's father vanished the moment he saw the pregnancy test, taking with him every dream she ever had of becoming a nurse, of building something better, of escaping the crushing poverty that has defined her entire existence. Now she lives in an endless cycle of suffering. Wake, work, stumble home, collapse for 3 hours, repeat. But there is something in this black woman that poverty has not managed to destroy. A sweetness so genuine it seems impossible. A gratitude for the smallest mercies that life still offers. When her baby smiles, she forgets her hunger. When she manages to pay rent on time, she thanks the heavens with tears in her eyes. It is a resilience disguised as fragility, and Jin-woo is about to witness it firsthand. Friday night descends upon Los Angeles with cruel indifference. Inside her crumbling apartment, Amara's hands tremble as she counts the coins scattered between torn sofa cushions. The baby is burning with fever. The diapers are gone. Her next paycheck will not arrive until Monday. $17.40. This is everything that stands between this black woman and absolute despair. The luxury pharmacy in the wealthy neighborhood where she works is still open. Amara walks in with her infant pressed against her chest, feeling the contemptuous stares of other customers burning through her threadbare clothes. She grabs a single pack of diapers and joins the checkout line, her heart pounding against her ribs like a caged bird desperate for freedom. Behind her, a man in an impeccable suit waits in silence. Jin-woo stopped here on a whim after dining with a corrupt senator, never imagining that fate was about to shatter his carefully constructed world. The black woman's card is declined once, twice, 3 times, and then she crumbles. Tears stream down her dark cheeks as her baby wails, and she whispers apologies through sobs, humiliation setting her skin ablaze. The other customers avert their eyes in disgust. Then a hand extends over her shoulder. A black card catches the fluorescent light. Jin-woo pays without speaking a single word. But his eyes, those cold, merciless eyes that have witnessed unspeakable horrors, remain fixed on the weeping black woman before him. Something buried for decades claws its way to the surface. The memory of his own mother begging, the hunger, the invisibility. But this is more than memory awakening. This is obsession igniting. That gratitude shimmering in her tear-filled eyes, that sweetness despite unimaginable suffering, that purity he has not seen since before his first kill. He needs to possess her. Amara turns to thank the stranger, her lips parting to speak words of gratitude that catch in her throat. But when she looks up, he is already gone, vanished into the night like a specter, like a dark angel who appeared only long enough to save her and then dissolved into shadow. She stands frozen at the register, clutching the bag of diapers against her chest, her baby's cries finally softening against her shoulder. The cashier stares at her with barely concealed contempt, and this black woman gathers what remains of her dignity and walks out into the cold Los Angeles night. She does not know that eyes are watching her from a black sedan parked across the street. She does not know that Jin-woo has already lifted his phone to his ear, issuing orders in rapid Korean to the men who fear him more than death itself. Follow her. Find out everything. Where she lives, where she works, how much she owes, how many meals she skips each week. Everything. The walk home takes 47 minutes because Amara cannot afford the bus fare. Her feet ache with every step, and the baby grows heavy in her arms. But this black mother presses forward through the darkness because she has no other choice. She has never had another choice. When she finally reaches her building, a crumbling structure that should have been condemned years ago, she climbs 3 flights of stairs that groan beneath her weight, unlocks her door with trembling hands, and stops dead in her tracks. There, stacked neatly outside her apartment, are shopping bags overflowing with supplies. Diapers enough to last 6 months. Formula. Baby clothes still bearing their tags. Groceries packed in expensive paper bags. Amara's heart races between gratitude and terror. She looks down the empty hallway, searching for answers that refuse to come. Who did this? How did they know where she lives? What do they want in return? The next morning, a knock on her door shatters the uneasy sleep she finally managed to find. Her landlord stands in the hallway, and for one terrible moment, Amara braces herself for eviction, for the words she has been dreading for months. But instead, the man's face wears an expression she has never seen before. Confusion mixed with something almost like respect. The rent has been paid, he tells her, 3 months in advance, by a benefactor who wishes to remain anonymous. Amara's blood runs cold in her veins. This black woman has survived 27 years in a world that has never given her anything for free. And she knows in her bones, that kindness like this always comes with a price. She asks questions. She demands answers. But the landlord knows nothing. And when she seeks out her elderly Korean neighbor, Mrs. Kim, the old woman's face goes pale at her description of the well-dressed man with eyes like winter ice. "You must run," Mrs. Kim whispers, her voice shaking. That man is Park Jin-woo. He owns this city. He owns the police. He owns everything. And now, child, now he has noticed you. But before Amara can pack a single bag, before she can flee with her baby into the anonymous sprawl of Los Angeles, a black Maybach pulls up outside her building in broad daylight. Armed men in dark suits take positions at every exit. And then Jin-woo himself emerges from the vehicle, adjusting his cufflinks with the casual elegance of a predator who has all the time in the world. He climbs those 3 flights of stairs. He stands before her door. And when Amara opens it with her baby clutched against her chest and defiance blazing in her eyes, he speaks for the first time since the pharmacy. "I am not here to hurt you," he says, his voice low and controlled. "I am here to make you an offer that will change your life forever." Amara stares at this man, this monster who murders without mercy, who controls half the city with blood-soaked hands. And she laughs. She laughs right in his face, and something in Tinua's chest cracks at the sound. No one has laughed at him in 15 years. No one has dared. But this black woman, this exhausted mother in her threadbare clothes, looks at the most dangerous man in California and laughs as if he is nothing but a joke. "I know what powerful men want from women like me," she says, her voice steady despite the fear screaming in her veins. "Use us, discard us, destroy us. I would rather starve than become your toy." Jin-woo's legendary control trembles at its foundations. He steps closer, and the Mara holds her ground, refusing to give him an inch. Her baby whimpers between them, and for one heartbeat, the mafioso's gaze softens as he looks at the child. A softness so foreign to his features that it seems almost painful. "I want nothing physical from you," he says slowly, as if the words themselves confuse him. "I will pay your debts. I will provide for you and your son. I will ask nothing in return except to see you, to be near you. That is all." But Amara is no fool. And as Jin-woo reaches into his jacket and produces an envelope thick with cash, $50,000, enough to erase every debt crushing her spirit, she understands that the trap has already begun to close around her throat. The envelope sits on her scratched kitchen table like a coiled serpent waiting to strike. $50,000. More money than Amara has ever seen in her entire life. More than she could earn in 2 years of scrubbing floors until her hands bleed. Her baby fusses in her arms, hungry again, always hungry. And this black woman stares at the cash that could solve every problem she has ever known. The medical bills from childbirth that collection agencies call about at all hours. The electricity that flickers because she cannot afford the full payment. The formula she waters down to make it last longer. All of it could vanish with those crisp bills stacked so neatly before her. Jinwoo watches her face with an intensity that makes her skin crawl, reading every emotion that flickers across her features like a man studying scripture. "Use it or burn it," he says quietly. "The choice belongs to you alone." And God help her, she takes it. The weeks that follow transform Amara's existence into something she cannot recognize. Jinwoo moves her from the roach-infested apartment into a luxury high-rise where doormen bow as she passes and concierges ask if she needs anything at all. The baby's room is decorated with furniture that costs more than her annual salary, and a team of nannies appears to help with childcare, so this exhausted black mother can finally sleep more than 3 hours at a time. New clothes fill her closet, designer labels she cannot pronounce, fabrics softer than anything she has ever touched. Her debts evaporate like morning mist, paid off by lawyers who never reveal their client's name. For the first time in years, Amara eats 3 meals a day. For the first time since her son was born, she does not cry herself to sleep wondering how she will survive tomorrow. But freedom, she soon discovers, is merely an illusion painted gold. Jinwoo's visits begin gently enough. Dinner once a week, conversations where he asks about her day, about her dreams of nursing school, about the baby's first smile. He brings gifts that grow increasingly extravagant. Diamond earrings she will never wear, a car she does not know how to drive, first edition books because she once mentioned loving to read. And always, always, those winter eyes watch her with a hunger that has nothing to do with her body and everything to do with her soul. He tells her about his childhood in Seoul, about the mother who starved to death in his arms, about eating garbage to survive. He tells her about the first man he killed, a dealer who tried to cheat him, and how he felt nothing afterward, only relief that he would never be powerless again. He tells her things he has never told another living soul, and Amara listens with horror blooming in her chest, because she can see it now, the broken boy beneath the monster's mask. But then the visits grow more frequent, daily, nightly, 3 in the morning, and Jinwoo appears at her door simply to watch her sleep. Amara wakes to find him sitting in the darkness of her bedroom, his eyes reflecting the city lights outside her window, and terror seizes her throat so tightly she cannot scream. "You are safe," he whispers, as if that explains everything. "I am only making sure you are safe." The surveillance becomes impossible to ignore. Trackers appear in her phone, in her purse, in the stroller she uses to walk the baby through the park. Armed guards follow her everywhere, men with dead eyes who report her every movement to their master. When a friendly neighbor, a young black man named Marcus, who smiles kindly and offers to help carry groceries, disappears without explanation, Amara feels ice crystallize in her veins. She asks Jinwoo directly, demands to know what happened, and he does not even bother to lie. "He looked at you too long," Jinwoo says simply. "He will not make that mistake again." Amara realizes then that she has traded one cage for another. The roaches and mold have been replaced by marble floors and silk sheets, but the bars around her are stronger than ever, forged from obsession and violence, and a love so twisted it resembles possession. This black woman paces her golden prison at night while her baby sleeps peacefully in his designer crib, and she wonders if she will ever taste true freedom again. She wonders if she will survive long enough to watch her son grow up. She wonders, with a terror that keeps her awake until dawn, What Jinwoo will do when he finally realizes that she can never love him back. But the cruelest twist awaits her still. Because in the quiet hours when Jinwoo speaks of his past, when vulnerability cracks through his iron mask and she glimpses the starving child he once was, Amara feels something stir in her chest that she desperately does not want to name. Not love, never love, not for a monster who murders without remorse, but understanding, empathy, recognition. She knows what it means to be invisible, to be hungry, to be nothing. She knows what desperation drives people to become. And when Jinwoo looks at her like she is the only light in his endless darkness, this black woman feels the most dangerous emotion of all awakening in her heart. She feels sorry for him. And somewhere across the city, in a penthouse office decorated with cold, modern art, a woman named Yoon Sara stares at surveillance photographs spread across her desk and feels jealousy burning through her veins like acid. She was Jinwoo's lover for 3 years. She was supposed to become his wife, his queen, the woman who ruled beside him. And now some pathetic black maid, some nobody who scrubs toilets for a living, has stolen everything Sara spent years building. This cannot stand. This will not stand. Sara reaches for her phone, dials a number she swore never to use, and when the voice on the other end answers, she speaks 3 words that will destroy them all. I have information. The FBI moves like a tightening noose around everything Jinwoo has built. Agents swarm his businesses, freeze his accounts, arrest his most trusted lieutenants one by one. The empire that took 20 years to construct begins crumbling in a matter of days. And at the center of the storm, Jinwoo does something no one expects. He gathers Amara and her baby and retreats to his fortified mansion in the hills. Armed guards patrol every entrance. Security cameras watch every shadow. The iron gates lock behind them with a finality that makes this black woman's blood run cold, because she understands now that she is no longer a guest in his world. She is a prisoner in his last stand. You will be safe here, Jinwoo tells her, his voice strained with an emotion she has never heard before. Fear. Not fear of prison or death, but fear of losing her. No one will touch you. No one will take you from me. Amara watches him pace the marble floors like a caged tiger, barking orders into phones, threatening men who have already betrayed him. And she realizes that the monster who controls half the city is terrified of one thing only: becoming invisible again. Becoming nothing. Becoming the starving boy who watched his mother die. And in this moment of absolute chaos, this black woman makes a decision that shocks even herself. She stays. Not because she loves him. The word feels too simple for whatever twisted thing exists between them. Not because she fears him, though she does. God help her. She does. She stays because she finally understands the truth that has been hiding beneath every gift, every surveillance camera, every murdered rival. Jinwoo has never seen her as an object to possess. He has seen her as salvation, as proof that goodness still exists in a world he has painted with blood, as the only light that can reach the darkness where his soul has been rotting for decades. And perhaps, just perhaps, this broken black woman is strong enough to be the redemption he does not deserve, but desperately needs. The attack comes at midnight. Yoon Sera storms through the mansion's shattered doors with FBI agents flooding in behind her. Immunity deal secured, vengeance burning in her eyes. She has traded everything she knows about Jinwoo's organization for freedom and the chance to destroy the black woman who stole what should have been hers. Guards fall. Gunfire echoes through marble hallways, and Sarah finds Amara in the nursery, clutching her crying baby against her chest, nowhere left to run. "You," Sarah spits, raising her weapon with trembling hands. "You worthless black maid. You scrub toilets for a living. You are nothing. Nothing. And yet he chose you over me?" Amara holds her son tighter, tears streaming down her dark cheeks, and speaks with a courage she did not know she possessed. "He did not choose me over you. He chose humanity over emptiness. And that is something you could never give him." Sarah's finger tightens on the trigger. The baby screams. And then Jin-woo appears in the doorway like death itself, his white shirt stained with blood, a gun steady in his hand. For one eternal second, his eyes meet Amara's across the room. She sees everything in that gaze. The boy who ate garbage, the man who built an empire, the monster who killed without mercy, the broken soul who loved her the only way he knew how. And she sees him make his choice. The gunshot is deafening. Sarah crumples to the floor, shock frozen on her face, and Jin-woo does not spare her a second glance. He crosses the room in 3 strides, cups Amara's face in his blood-stained hands, and for the first time since they met, he looks almost human. "Take the baby," he whispers. "Go through the back tunnel. My men will get you out. You will be safe. You will be free." But before Amara can respond, FBI agents pour into the room with weapons raised, screaming commands. Jin-woo has seconds to decide: fight and die, or surrender and rot in prison for decades. His hand tightens on his gun. His jaw clenches with the fury of a man who has never submitted to anyone. And then he looks at this black woman one final time, at the child in her arms, at the purity he spent months trying to possess. He drops the weapon. The trial lasts 3 weeks. Amara sits in the witness stand, dressed in simple clothes, her hands folded in her lap, and tells the truth. All of it. She tells them how Jin-woo paid her bills when she had nothing, how he protected her son when no one else would, how he loved her in a way so twisted and obsessive that it nearly destroyed them both. But she also tells them about the murders, the threats, the surveillance, the golden cage he built around her life. She tells them that love, even damaged, desperate love, does not justify imprisonment. She tells them that she needed to be free more than she needed to be saved. Jin-woo watches her from the defendant's table, and for the first time in 15 years, the mask of ice melts completely. He does not fight. He does not threaten. He accepts a sentence of 15 years without appeal, his eyes never leaving the black woman who became his obsession and his undoing. As guards lead him away in chains, he speaks to her one final time across the crowded courtroom. "You gave me something the Empire never could. Thank you." 5 years pass like water through open fingers. Amara Robinson is a certified nurse now, working in a community clinic that serves people who remind her of who she used to be. Her son is 6 years old, bright and beautiful, attending a good school paid for by money Jin-woo arranged through lawyers before he lost everything. She has built a life from the ashes of her imprisonment. Small, quiet, free. And every month, without fail, a letter arrives from a federal penitentiary in Nevada. The handwriting is elegant, the message always the same. "You showed me something I forgot existed. Thank you for seeing me as human." Amara keeps every letter in a locked box she never opens. Her therapist asks if she still thinks about him. The answer is yes. Every single day. Not with longing, not with love, but with the weight of knowing she was the only person who ever saw the broken boy beneath the monster. It nearly consumed her. It almost cost her everything. But she survived. She escaped. And that, she has learned, is the only happy ending that stories like hers can ever truly have. On a spring afternoon, Amara takes her son to the park. A Korean child trips near the swings, and she helps the little girl up without thinking. The father thanks her in broken English, and their eyes meet for just a moment. There is something familiar in his gaze, a shared pain, an unspoken recognition. But Amara smiles politely, takes her son's hand, and walks away. Some ghosts are meant to be left behind, even the ones who loved you. In his cell, 16 years still stretching before him, Jin Woo writes his monthly letter. He speaks of therapy, of remorse, of the child he helped save even though it was never his. He speaks of redemption he may never deserve, but fights for anyway. When he finishes writing, he folds the paper carefully, addresses the envelope, and places it with the outgoing mail. He does not know if she reads them. He suspects she does not. But the writing itself, the confession, the gratitude, the proof that someone once saw him as human, is enough. Amada receives the letter 3 days later. She holds it in her hands for a long moment, feeling its weight, remembering everything it represents. Then she places it in the locked box with all the others, closes the lid, and finally turns the key. She is free. And that is the most beautiful ending a story like hers could ever hope to find. If this story moved you, pause for a moment and reflect. Have you ever accepted help from someone, only to discover the price was far greater than you imagined? Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone the world calls a monster and seen the broken human hiding beneath? Or have you ever had to choose between the safety of a golden cage and the terrifying freedom of walking away with nothing but your dignity? Share your experiences and feelings in the comments. We read every single one. And if you believe in stories about redemption, survival, and the courage to break free, don't forget to subscribe to the channel